I bet this doesn't work.
I don't know. What can I see? Oh, yeah. Kind of. Ooh, very barely.
Once I get close enough for it to actually have light going through it.
You can see like a silhouette of a structure or something.
Aziz, light!
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Weird.
Nice hat.
That is some retro business, dude. I think I don't know. You're making me feel nostalgic for things I don't have anymore.
From a better time.
But you will have them again.
Will I now?
Reborn.
All right.
Stay tuned to today's Current Geek.
Nerdtacular swag bags will include one of
That'd be
those. Awesome. No, they won't.
Oh, if they did? Ooh.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're ready. Did I tell you guys that Chris Metzen is coming to BlizzCon? Have I mentioned that?
What?
You have now.
How exciting is that?
That's crazy.
I'm stoked. Yeah. Very excited.
I'm going to give him a big hug.
Aw. Squeeze a little toot out of
Like
him.
a leper gnome.
All right. Let's do this this thing. Okay.
Tom breaks the show.
You guys can hear this, right? You guys hear that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll hear that a lot later.
Really well.
Well, if it's trivia and involving me, yeah, that's going to be
Yeah.
all
Are
night
you
long.
excited? You're going to have some sweet
Are you going to give them their categories ahead of time?
You know
this
what?
time,
I think I will this time. Why not?
All right.
Tom's got a good idea there. All right. So what you've got here, let me pull them up here. Okay. Brecky, yours is the Greater Marvel Cinematic Universe.
All right.
Things that end with Enos.
Enos. Penis. Enos.
Penis,
Let's see.
Green
And then, John, yours is 90s trivia. Kind of with a nerdy bent, so don't worry. It'll be a little nerdy, but 90, because you lived through that decade. You know what's up.
Oh, I love the 90s.
Yeah. So you'll love this.
Hygienist?
Hygiene.
Does that rhyme?
He's still trying to work on Enos.
Oh, Enos, hygienist. No, that doesn't work.
Cleanness?
Clean. Enos.
Pig Venus.
Weenus. Is weenus not a word? Probably not.
Like I bent my weenus?
Yeah.
That just goes back to the other one.
I can't think of any more Enos rhymes. That's weird. That's like orange. Hold on. Enos.
Door hinge?
Mean us. Not a word.
Meanus. Yeah, it could be a name. There could be some proper nouns.
If
But
you wanted to just rhyme it. You could.
I knew a guy named Ryan Enos.
did you?
Yeah.
I watched a terrible Dukes of Hazzard spinoff called Enos. That was good.
If you're playing checkers, you could say Queen us.
Ah, Queenus. Although you don't really say, Queenus. Actually, you can't queen. You don't queen anybody, right? Or do you? Do you?
Queen me.
Tom, you're such a genius.
Genus. You're such a genus. All right.
Have you seen us?
Oh, see? Right. Order of the Phoenix?
I think let's wean us off of this.
See?
Yeah, I'm late for my
You
tennis
always win.
appointment.
He always wins.
I'm doing a standing ovation, but I'm
won.
already
I think
standing,
Brecky
so it's
won.
not impressive.
Are you
But
standing, John? All right, good.
I am,
Well,
yeah.
you're in good
I got one of
company.
those Geek desk frames.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Change your life, right?
Except for the fact that now I hate sitting,
Yeah, well,
so that sucks.
yeah, you need.
I have a standing desk too, but I sit at it. Am I doing it wrong, John?
Let me raise my desk.
No, I mean, I sit sometimes too, but
You got to go half and half. That's
I
the
know.
trick.
I gotta.
That's where I'm at, 50-50.
Because the problem is if I stand.
I sit for shows. I found that I do better. I thought I'd do better standing, but I fidget, so I sit now.
Yeah.
I may do a lot of this.
I usually stand up when I do geek days, but sit down for everything else.
Yeah. Fair idea. Fair point. All right, here we go. I think we're ready. Let's
Encounter
launch
at
this.
Fairpoint.
See, is that encounter at Weenus Point? All right, here we go. My mouse to reach over here isn't working anymore.
The
Oh,
nearest?
this is streaming already?
Yeah, we're already streaming. We're in.
Hey.
It's going.
Heyo.
There's no stopping us now.
Oh, hello, everyone.
Hello. Hold on a minute. All right, we are recording. There's no turning back. I'll start the intro, do the introductions, and off we go. Hold on. Okay, here we go. It begins in 3, 2, 1.
I have
Current Geek!
Aha.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Current Geek. This is Current Geek, the weekly proceedings of the meetings of the Frog Pants All-Stars, geeks of the world, and you to keep you current on all things that matter most. I'm Scott Johnson. The man with the gavel is Tom Merritt.
This is the time, ladies and gentlemen, when you can relax, unbutton that top button if you want, sit back and realize the weekend is here, and Current Geek is here to help welcome you into it.
Yeah, wait no more. It's here. It's Friday, and people are going to go see that Kingsman.
Yeah,
The
I'm
King-
going to look at it through my ViewMaster.
Oh yeah, look at this. If you're watching the video version of the show, you see Tom with his ViewMaster with a 1972 representation of Phoenix, Arizona.
Look, it's Sky Harbor Airport.
Wow. You know what? There's a real look to those photos.
Old Scottsdale.
Things are dirty. Like it looks like a place you don't want to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something about that era.
3D dirty.
Good
Free
stuff.
Dirty.
Speaking of 3D and dirty, we have returning to the show one Brecky Thomason. You know him. You love him. He's back. What's going on, Brecky? How you doing?
Not much. Just keeping awake with sugar and caffeine.
What time is it there?
Just past 1 o'clock a.m.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, up late, doing it, making the sacrifice. 4th time on the show. It's fantastic having you back. Welcome back to the show,
Good to be
sir.
here.
We also have with us a first-timer, an old friend, someone who I think is a freaking genius, but I don't tell him that very often. It'll make his head big. His name is John Funk. You know him as _Funk. John, what's going on?
Hello.
Nice to have you, man.
Hey, it's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah, John reminds me every time we talk that there's a mountain near me that he likes to make fun of. And do you remember the name of the mountain, John? Do you remember the name?
Tampon no-goes.
Yeah. Oh, no. Tampon no-goes. It's really Timpanogos, but he has chosen a very different way of saying it when he visited our fair land.
It's a living language.
Yes, indeed.
So,
It's good to have you both here. It's fantastic to be here. Let's jump right in with both feet with the top stuff.
Herbert Hoover, Secretary of Commerce in 1922, finds infant radio facilitates news gathering, as do many others in high public office.
Tom?
hey, it's John Funk's brother in underscore at the beginning of a username _Los.
Whoa.
No, it was a long way for that one. _Los 587 and Deba Singe were among the many people who were very excited to send us news that Sony Pictures has worked out a deal with Marvel and Disney to bring Spider-Man into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Spidey will appear first in an unknown Marvel movie, not a Sony movie, but a Disney Marvel movie. Although the Hollywood Reporter thinks that movie might be Captain America Civil War. We don't know for sure. Then on June 28th, 2017, when I turn 47, we get a new standalone Spider-Man movie from Sony. But now Marvel characters will be able to appear in that movie and any other Sony Spider-Man movies. So, when do we get the X-Men?
When Fox gets their grip off their dead cold hands come off the grip they have on X-Men right now. This is
I
interesting.
would much rather see Fantastic Four back at Marvel Studios.
Oh, I would too. Yeah.
I mean, Fantastic Four is what made Marvel what they are today, more so than any other franchise, in my opinion.
Sure. The problem with
Wasn't
it is,
Spider-Man?
well, part of it is you appreciate the Fantastic Four for their historic significance and impact.
Right.
And I'm not sure a mainstream audience does, though. I think a mainstream audience thinks they're a little goofy, and it's partly because they haven't been portrayed very well since they've not been in the hands of Marvel, and since this Marvel movie revolution has kind of happened. So part of me thinks that part of me is with you 100%, but part of me says this weird part, right? This part says that they're too weird for mainstream audiences, or they have not been fleshed out enough or made important enough. They think Iron Man's more important. I know it didn't used to be this way. And perhaps if they got them back, we could change all that and do what do to the Fantastic Four what was done to Iron Man. But right now, they just are kind of this other thing that they're not known for anymore. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think part of it is that it depends on what characters just make good stories, right? And I think that sometimes the Fantastic Four just feel a little,
less fantastic than they used to. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like Tony Stark he's got so much personality, right? And and all these new characters are at least new to a lot of people that aren't familiar with the franchise, are very interesting, and they've got a lot of depth to them. And I think that sometimes the Fantastic Four doesn't really feel like it's got that much to dig into. It's like the old Hulk cartoon.
But is that a function of what Marvel has done with the Avengers, or is it endemic to the characters?
That's a good
Right,
point.
because I would never say Thor has any depth.
Right. You wouldn't,
Except in
would
his
you?
chest.
True. Those pecs to
Now,
die for.
some people would argue that Thor, the comic, has depth, though. Like there's definitely some pretty high points in the comic history of Thor, but it's also kind of it's a hero based on a myth, based on maybe a bad idea to bring myths to comics or something. I don't know. I mean, the origins are disputable, but as far as how they portrayed him lately, I don't know about the movies are maybe my least exciting of the bunch, of all these recent films. but there's still something there, you know? So can they do better than that? Probably. Could they take Fantastic Four and take it to a new place? Probably. But, you know, Spider-Man coming back to its home is a pretty big deal from my perspective. And I kind of felt like it was coming because Sony's had some trouble. They haven't been able to do what they want to do with that thing. They haven't had the excitement and the sort of overall, you know, splash that it used to have. So, you know, why not make a deal? Cut a deal that makes sense. Work with Marvel instead against them, and you know, a little trade here and there. It's to me, it seems like the Civil War things seems like an obvious choice, right? Put them in there, makes sense for the story. It also makes sense to then launch from that to whatever his full movie is. That all makes sense. But as far as whoever crosses over back from the Marvel universe over into the Sony Spider-Man, that I think is a really interesting question, and I have no idea who those people should be. Any predictions or recommendations for what heroes should, you know, temporarily leave Marvel and head over there and be part of their movie?
I think the ground level cast works best. You know, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the Hawkeye, the Black Widow kind of characters.
Yeah.
Rather than the, you know, I've got major superpowers and I can shoot lightning.
Yeah, we haven't had what's his name? Not Green Arrow. Gosh, my brain's dead tonight. Hawkeye hasn't done any extra stuff.
One of them arrow shooting ones.
I have a Hawkeye tattoo right here.
Do you really? Oh my gosh, look at you.
Look at
Boom,
that.
purple arrow.
All right.
Nice.
From the cover of Hawkeye #1, the new Matt Fraction, David Aja.
Fantastic series, by the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll
I mean,
see.
let's not
Ending it
fool
soon.
ourselves. Somebody at Sony did the calculations and said, this is how much money we think another Andrew Garfield Spider-Man #3 will make. And this is how much money we'll make if we share Spider-Man, recast him, and have a Captain America / Iron Man appearance. And that number was bigger. That's why Sony's doing this.
Yeah, of course.
They've already started talking about the new cast. Dylan O'Brien and Logan Lerman are, you know, the top names at the moment.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk about people wanting the other iterations of Spider-Man that aren't Peter Parker to maybe be considered, and I don't think any of that's going to happen. I'm sure this will be Peter Parker. I just hope it's not another origin story. We're done with those. We don't need that anymore. If it happens over in Civil War, I think that's a good chance we won't have to deal with another spider biting a kid story, which is good. I'm pretty stoked. But the idea that they're doing this at all, I think, is not only amazing and awesome, but Tom's right. It's financially smart. It's funny reading the two different press releases, the Marvel one and the Sony one, came from two very different places. And you know, the way Sony talked, it was like, yeah, we're excited to let some of those people over Marvel in on our awesome franchise. You know, made it sound like they were kind of the leader or the winner in this deal. I mean, they win, but I think Marvel's the one that really wields the power in this. So, yeah, very excited to see how it all turns out. Can't wait.
Yeah, all I want to know is when do I get my Silver Surfer movie?
Never, we hope. We hope not, because listen, that was a bad idea. I don't want to be too controversial here, but Silver Surfer, kind of stupid.
No!
Think about it for a second. He's in it. He's a silver dude, and he rides a surfboard through space.
It's badass.
That is so stupid.
No, it's great.
What is wrong with that?
It's so dumb. It's
Come
like,
on.
There's
and the Ang Lee Hulk movie was good.
No. I don't. I would disagree there.
There's such a thing as going too far.
I don't think it
I
was
was married.
Yeah.
I was married in the restaurant that was featured in the Ang Lee Hulk movie, and I still can't say it was
weird. I don't think that movie's great. I don't think it's the worst thing ever made by any stretch. But but aside from that, the Silver Surfer. I just want to make this clear on the show. Any of that weird '60s era, like he should be on a surfboard, or there's a guy that eats worlds, or heroes made out of,
or there's a guy who was bit by a spider and get what? They're all '60s era, Scott.
Yeah.
I know.
You can't just pick and choose.
Some were better than others, though, right?
It would be awesome. I mean, think about Green Lantern.
Yeah, it sucks.
Incredible character, and the movie was terrible.
Yeah.
I think the people that are at Marvel coming up with these stories, that are doing the casting, the artistic direction, everything, they're so at the top of their game. You could give them total garbage, and they would make it incredible. So I think that if they were to re-envision Silver Surfer, it would be so different from what we could possibly think it would be that it would blow our minds.
I'm pretty sure that it's owned by Fox as well, the rights to Silver Surfer, given its...
the Fantastic Four. I mean, Josh Trank is making a movie right now, and based on what we know that he's doing with Doctor Doom, or Viktor Domashev, an evil hacker in this version of things. I don't think they're going to do great things with the Silver Surfer if they ever do a sequel.
Yeah, who knows? But if they ever get the rights back, baby.
Silver Surfer was the best part of the Fantastic Four movie that he appeared in, which is not saying a lot.
Yeah, that is not saying a lot. All right, whatever.
When Vic Mackey's out there clobbering time. I don't know. There was just something weird.
Yeah, bad.
All right. You know how you go on a long trip and you collect a lot of souvenirs and you think, I should do something with these, and then you don't. And you just kind of throw it in a closet. Well, Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, is just like you, or was. Captain Kipper sent us the article about Armstrong's stash, which his wife Carol just found in a closet after the astronaut passed away in 2012. The gear includes his waist tether, an emergency wrench, the 16-millimeter data acquisition camera that recorded the now iconic footage of the lander's final approach, and Armstrong's trip down the ladder. The items are now on extended loan to the National Air and Space Museum, along with Armstrong's other memorabilia. So just throw it in a closet. Yeah. Oh, I'm done with this camera, honey. I'm just going to throw this in here.
If you're if you're a conspiracy theorist, are you going crazy right now trying to, get your hands on this stuff?
Let me just cut you off right there, Scott. If you're a conspiracy theorist, you were already crazy.
Yep.
Right. I just wonder if any of this represents like some kind of weird proof for somebody, or they want to get their hands on it and, show that
I would assume that
fake.
Anytime anyone says this was on the moon, the conspiracy theorists say, no, it wasn't.
You think
and
that's
then the conversation proceeds from there.
That's the standard answer. All right. No, this is pretty cool. I'm guessing this stuff's worth a lot of money. John, up there in Canada, where you guys have a space program. What's going on up there? Yeah, you do. You got great. You have awesome astronauts.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
We made the Canadarm.
Yeah, that's right. And you have that dude that sings in space. What's his name?
Now I'm spacing on his name right now.
Hatfield.
Yeah.
He's awesome. My gosh, that guy. He's a national treasure, and we're not even in your country.
Yeah, he was wicked in Metallica too.
Right?
Spacing on his name, by the way. Great pun.
Yeah. Hey, pretty good. If you guys had, so let's just throw it out there. Brecky, if you had all this cool gear and you found it in a closet by accident, you were Armstrong's houseboy or something, what would you do? Sell it? eBay, would you?
Yep.
Oh my gosh, the money you could make.
Sorry, National Air and Space Museum. I'm cashing in.
No, I'm glad.
I mean, they can bid too. Yeah. It's a fair game.
Sure, right. It's open market.
If it were me, and like she said, like it says here in the article, that's where they are now, extended loan. That's the right place to put them, surely. I mean,
belongs in a museum.
Yeah, and I'm guessing Armstrong's wife, what's her name? Carol. Is doing fine. She's probably fine. It's not like she needs a bunch of extra money at this point in her life, and this is the right place to put it. So if it's a place where kids or somebody can study it or see it, or we can keep it as a national cool archive, then hey, why not? We're running out of those, so why not have that one? That's great.
Yeah, to not use this as an opportunity to I guess get kids excited about space travel is I don't know. That'd be crazy.
What if we had a movie script that said Nicolas Cage had to go kidnap these out of the museum, and underneath there was some Illuminati message about the impending doom of mankind?
Now that's a national.
I'm in.
All right.
I'd probably say, let's ride.
Nicely said.
All right. Jeff Rise sent us this next one. If you were watching FXX, not FX, but the other one, FXX. At 1:30 a.m. Eastern, the morning of February 9th, you got treated to a very weird 30-minute television adaptation of the prologue to Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series called The Wheel of Time, The Winter Dragon. Or not, sorry, just The Wheel of Time, Winter Dragon, starring Billy Zane and Max Ryan.
What?
And no one else, just those two.
Are you kidding me? All right, keep
I'm
going.
not kidding you. I watched all 30 minutes. It's complicated how this happened. The Jordan estate has a contract with Universal Pictures that granted television rights until February 11th, at which point the rights would revert back to Jordan's estate if no show had been produced. That's a very typical contract. Meanwhile, Universal had worked with Red Eagle Entertainment, the people who made this FXX show, to develop a series back in 2008. Red Eagle says, "We made this pilot and paid to air it on FXX. Great things coming soon." Apparently, they did it in order not to lose the rights, or at least make an argument.
Oh, weird. So this is like, it's kind of like the Sony deal. They have to make a Spider-Man movie every so many years, right, to maintain their rights?
This is a very typical deal, which is like you either make something out of this or the rights go back. You can't just hold them forever.
John, you're in the middle of reading this, or you're toward the end of the series, are you not? So you're kind of this is fresh for you.
Yeah, book 11.
Yeah.
God knows how many.
Are you surprised that there hasn't been a proper adaptation up to this point, or do we live in a world where we needed something like Game of Thrones to prove viability before a series of this depth was made? And I'm
Well, I
not,
think it's-
go ahead.
I think it's kind of weird because I find myself saying, "Oh man, this book would make a great movie," but like they generally don't, and that's why they're books. Because there are ways that a story can be told in that format that just works better. And I think that The Wheel of Time is one of those series where to turn this into some sort of serialized, like really confusing David Lynch Dune-esque
Dune
hyper drama is
Sure.
like it doesn't make any sense. I'm familiar with the series and I watched it and I'm like, I understand 4 of the names and yeah, this kind of makes sense, but in general, I'm confused. Did I have a stroke?
No,
Like-
what you saw was like done in a day.
Yeah.
So they
With
basically
Billy
are
Zane
like,
and Max
well,
Ryan.
we have Billy Zane and Max Ryan, and we have a day, and we're in this house, so this is what we can do.
Yeah.
A title card would have been better.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
There you
don't.
go.
I don't understand why. I don't understand why somebody couldn't have done something else with it. I mean, Game of Thrones lends itself to
Oh,
gossip
that's
and
not the right
backstabbing.
question, Scott. Somebody else could do something else with it, unless Red Eagle Entertainment pulled this douchebaggery and tried to keep the rights. This is not about like Universal wants someone else to do it. Jordan wants someone else to do it. Red Eagle Entertainment is the only one who wanted this to happen. I'm not even sure if it's going to hold up, actually.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens because, that's a series people love. And I remember there was a video game based on this in the mid-'90s. It was based on the Unreal Engine. And for about 5 minutes, I was interested in reading those books, and then I never did. Is that a series worth picking up now, or have I missed the boat and it shouldn't matter anymore to me?
I think they're definitely worth picking up. I mean, the books get gradually slower. I think the 8th or 9th book, the entire book takes place over the span of a day.
Ooh.
yeah,
But
that's number.
they're still
10.
very good.
Wow. 10th book is all one day? That's crazy.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
The Siege of the White Tower and all of that.
I
I
call
should have
that.
shot that book.
I call that. If it's a real slog, I call that the Feast of Crows phase that they were in there.
Feast for Crows, yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what?
this is
Great
worse,
audiobooks,
trust me.
though.
Yeah. Feast of
Yeah.
Crows. What did I say? 4 crows? 4 crows, what I meant.
I don't know.
Who knows? Hey, the feast for
How many
somebody.
crows, Scott? How many crows?
There are 4
There
lots.
are 4 crows.
On the upside though, even though this thing was shot in a day, still probably surprisingly expensive to do and to buy the airtime. So they can only really piss money away for so long until they just can't afford to do it. And eventually the rights will go to someone who will either do it justice or will decide that the King Killer Chronicles should be made into a series before this.
What is the quality of it? Look good? I mean, was it
No.
No? Okay. So production wise and like costumes and all that stuff kind of crappy.
It looked like a sort of like sewer shark-esque kind of like this was from like the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
it's,
that was worse. That had Christopher Lambert. You can guarantee quality if he's in it.
Yeah, he's
This
made
was
better.
He's from
just-
Outworld.
I would say it's just shy of sci-fi weekend movie.
Yeah, okay.
Not quite attaining that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say just shy of porn parodies.
Early next generation
I
episodes.
would know, Brecky.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, me
not.
neither, but I've heard.
Obviously.
Well, it's nice to hear FXX has gone from being the world's 24-hour Simpsons network to this, and that's fantastic.
Don't
to
blame
see them moving
FXX. As much as I think FXX is crazy, it's not their fault.
up. No. Well, all right. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, better
Yeah.
things.
Hey, guy from Trinidad alerted us that the Viewmaster is going digital. If you remember the old Viewmaster, it was this red plastic viewer that you held up to your face, and you had these little circular reels with small color slides that simulated 3D. Well, Mattel is teaming up with Google to make a new virtual reality Viewmaster based on Google Cardboard, their sort of DIY virtual reality headset. So it's the same form factor as cardboard, but it's plastic. And instead of sliding in a cardboard reel, you slide in an Android smartphone. And then you can use a Mattel app to see 3D stuff. There will still be reels, but you don't put them in the Viewmaster. You set them on the table. And in addition to the app, it'll extend an augmented reality interface. You can see like these 3D animations take place on the table in front of you. But you don't need the reels. You can just use the app. New viewer costs $30 and includes one sample reel. You can get additional 3-pack reels for $15 coming this autumn.
That's awesome. That's totally cool. I don't have any discrepancy here with this. This sounds great. Like, why not?
I have one.
What's that?
I wouldn't trust placing my phone inside a small cardboard slot on something that rests precariously on the front of my face.
Well, okay, so I've seen one of those ones they made at that Google I/O conference. It was pretty sturdy. I was surprised because it looked, yeah, there it is right there. It's kind of that thickness, right, Tom?
This one hasn't been opened up, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty solid.
Tom has everything at his fingertips.
And
Have you noticed that?
And the
Jeez.
and the Viewmasters are going to be even more solid.
Yeah.
They're not going to be made of cardboard.
I just want to yell out something
Fair
like boiled egg, and Tom will reach to the left and come to the screen with a boiled
Look at
egg.
that.
That's amazing. A viewfinder and the new thing. But anyway, I'm not so scared about that. Those things seem pretty well constructed to me. But for me, it's all about what are cool experiences our kids can have or young kids can have that are similar to the kind of stuff we had. And I remember the first viewfinder I saw, or Viewmaster. I remember going, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'll probably never see this volcano. So here's a way for me to see it. And it was incredible. And I loved it. So to give that to kids, in some way today is pretty cool. I know they can go to Google Images and find a million images of anything they want, anytime they want.
I felt the same way about Phoenix.
Yeah, and now look at you. You're so much better now than you were before.
I'll never see Phoenix, but thank goodness for Viewmaster.
That's really close. You could fly there. It'll be fine. But yeah, whatever. Bring back my childhood in ways that make sense and make me feel nostalgic, and maybe ways that young people can get stoked. Young people. I'm not that old, but you know what I mean. That's exciting.
Yeah, I hope they give us some sort of ability to make our own sort of captured pseudo 3D Viewmaster things. Like, I don't see why. Like, we've got a gyroscope and whatnot in an iPhone that you can't just sort of take a picture and it says step, a few feet to the left, turn it this much, and then you just kind of line things up, take a picture from the other side, and then
Yeah. That's really cool. It actually makes me wonder, like, if I use Google Cardboard and I download the Mattel app, is that going to work? Do I have to buy the actual Viewmaster thing?
Also, I'm always curious why. Can you just download that schematic, by the way, and just put it on a piece of cardboard and cut it out? Or do you?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
open source cardboard.
All right. So if that's the case, I'm a little surprised more, and maybe I just haven't looked, but are there more apps out now that would take advantage of that, both iOS and Android? You could stick your phone in there, an iOS version that's been altered a little bit to fit the 6 or something. You got all the motion detection and, rotation control and all the stuff you'd have to do some pretty neat kind of pseudo VR experiences. I'm surprised that this stuff isn't more ubiquitous by now.
It might become that way. Yeah.
Well, stereoscopic imaging is super old school. So the fact that no one's really gotten on this is kind of, I don't know. It just seems weird, but maybe they haven't because it's really boring to do.
Well, again, remember, you would only see, for example, that volcano, or maybe you'd never get to, I don't know, Sweden or something, and so you'd see all these photos of Stockholm and go, wow, that's almost like being there. As a kid, that was really your only window to that, or textbooks. That was pretty much it when I was a kid, real little. But now, that's not really a problem. They can find a million YouTube videos and a million photos already. So I could see how this thing. Oh my gosh, what is that?
I mean, this is the only
Goldilocks.
way I could read Goldilocks and the Three Bears back in the day.
That's all right. They had story ones. I forgot about that. I think I had a Star Wars thing at one point.
Well, hey, you know what? Hook this thing up to Google Maps or Google Earth, right? And then just have it so that one frame is the right eye, and then the next frame in the series is the left eye, and you can walk through places.
Tom, where did you get all those?
When I was a kid.
That's
I got 'em for Christmas.
amazing. Oh my gosh. You know what to keep, man.
I got them for Christmas in this box.
That's great. Oh my gosh. I'm seriously, I'm being shrunk in years right now. That's amazing. All right. What's up next? What else we got?
Rockout 5K pointed out a time-lapse video shot in 10K. That's up on Scientifantastic's Vimeo channel. The resolution was 10,328 by 7,760 for each frame, captured with an 80 megapixel camera. Of course, Vimeo cannot show it to you at that resolution. They show it to you in 1080p, 1920 by 1080. So why would this be impressive? Because they can scale it. At 1080, when they show you the full frame, it's 14% of the resolution. So if you do 50%, it cuts out half the picture, right? It cuts out more than half the picture, but you still see the same amount of detail. And then they'll go to 100%, and you'll see this tiny bit of the full picture, and it's hasn't lost a shred of detail.
Wow, look at that. I'm looking at the video now. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've never seen anything quite like that. I didn't know there were 10K cameras either. I thought they were 8K, and that's the best we've done.
Well, it's an 80 megapixel camera.
Yeah.
I guess they're just sort of figuring out how to record 10K out of that with this experiment, right? This is a I don't know if it's a first, but it's some kind of first in 10K. And really, when you talk about 4K, 8K, whatever, it shows that the value isn't that you've got more resolution, because, you know, at a certain screen size, your eyes can only see so much. But the value is in what you can do with that image. You can just capture everything and then reshoot, you know, take pieces out of it later.
So does it give credence to the long-held myth that TV shows like CSI with their pause that, zoom, and enhance stuff that we always laugh at and mock? This actually is a future where it's not, you don't even have to enhance, just zoom in, you're done. Wow, that's crazy.
Assuming future, you know, security cameras are all 80 megapixel.
Yeah, good point, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't say here how much. I'm always interested in what this is stored, like how much data does this represent, and I'm not seeing a reference to that, but I'd be very curious how much like disk space this video took up.
I don't even know how you would stream that much data, like, to try and record that.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
It's
They
unreal.
used a Phase 1 IQ 180 digital medium format still camera. So it was time-lapse. It wasn't video. That helped.
Oh, yeah,
quite
that
a
helps
bit.
a lot. But still, even one of those single images are probably, oh, geez, I don't know. What would they be? A 10K image would probably be...
Yeah, each one of those videos,
10 megabytes a shot, but more than that, I guess, right? 100
It depends
megabytes?
on the formats too.
Yeah. Anyway, very curious about that. That's cool. Awesome. One day we'll all have them, guys. It'll all be on our phones. You watch.
Well, what'd be really cool is when we get retina projectors, and then we can, like, project, you know, the video of some place on a wall, and it looks legit.
Yeah. I was hoping that this, I guess that's not what this does. I was hoping the Gizmodo article would let us choose an area on the phone, on the image, and then see a cropped version, but it's not doing that.
Yeah, I'd like to see them. I'd like to see Scientific Fantastic do that.
Yeah,
So
that'd be really cool.
Kind of tool around. That'd be cool.
Very nice.
All right, gonna get a little bit morbid,
Oh, yeah.
but we're all, you know, at some point, unless the singularity happens, going to have to face the end of our life. And the last thing you want to worry about is your Facebook account. So up until now, once Facebook confirmed a user had passed on, they would freeze the account. Now you can assign a legacy contact while you're living who can write a post for the top of your timeline, change the embarrassing meme photo you were using as your profile picture, and if you pre-approve them, download an archive of your posts and photos. On the opposite end, you could also choose to have your account permanently deleted after you cease to be.
And if okay, let's say I tell my son, Nick, you're going to be the arbiter of my social media. At least in the Facebook case, that's a done deal. He can get on there and go, I just wanted everybody to know last night he ate 4 pizzas and that was it. We're done with Scott.
That is how you're going to go, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not so sure it won't, but yeah, I think this is okay. I mean, it strikes as a little morbid. Somebody the other morning on the morning show sent us a link to people's last tweets before they died, which is really morbid. But it got me to thinking about how creepy I find that idea. You know, somebody especially if somebody you really care about, but just anybody dies sometimes shortly after their final tweet or their final Facebook post. I find that infinitely creepy for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of being able to say, Nick, you can be in charge of it, but you have to delete everything. Or you can be in charge of it and do posthumous posts that I've given you ahead of time and just put one up per year as a reminder of my thing. Or in other words, let me have control over it. I think this is a pretty good
You could
move.
write out your final post like now so that you sound really eloquent.
Who do you think's next, Brecky? Twitter? You think they're going to do it?
I don't know. I think Twitter might just take the perspective that if you die, your account either stays there or it's deleted over time. I don't think they're going to be handing off ownership to anybody in this way, at least.
Yeah, I feel like it could trend though. Like if Facebook gets good press for this, maybe other social services would do.
Google
this.
has an inactive account policy, which I actually we were researching this. Sarah Lane and I were talking about it on DTNS. I went and did, which basically says if we don't detect a login from you in a certain amount of time, we'll send you a warning note. And then after a certain more amount of time, if we don't hear from you, we will contact someone that you designate and give them control of your account.
Interesting. How long
So
did
if
they say what the time was?
You get to set it. The default was 3 months. So
Yeah.
after 2 months, you would get a note, and then 3 months they would send the they would contact your designated account helper, your executor. I changed it to 6 months for some reason. I don't know why I picked 6, but I figure like if I get abducted, give myself time to get back. But after 6 months, forget it. Eileen gets my account.
John, who do you want to control your future social network destiny?
I'm fine with it just all being deleted.
Just chuck it all?
Yeah. It's because, like, here's the thing. It was just a little while ago. I was looking up some Twitter accounts for some different musicians because they usually have kind of interesting things to say. And I found one from the vocalist for a band called Sparkle Horse. And I was listening to their new album, or what I thought was a new album. So I tweeted to the guy. I'm like, hey, man, really loving your new album. And then I looked at the time for his most recent tweet, and it was a while ago. So I figured I'd check out, see what he was up to. And he had committed suicide.
Oh, gosh.
And so I kind of researched more and found like that he had this kind of battle that he was fighting for a long period of time. And I just felt like so crestfallen that I, thought I was reaching out to someone to tell them that I really liked what they had done, and then they had taken their own life. It just like,
yeah, that can be rough.
I felt terrible.
Yeah,
sure.
Of course.
No, that makes sense. I guess if and on the other hand, though, all right. So I'm just a devil's advocate, real quick.
But it is a legacy, right? So
well, I guess that's what I'm saying. If you've left a footprint that someone sees as valuable, let's just say for some reason my kids think it was valuable that I put a lot of artwork in my social stream, as an example, or I made a bunch of jokes that turned out to be genius, but nobody knew until I was gone, or something like that. Trust me, this is very hypothetical. But if that happened, they may want to preserve that footprint, and maybe they just want to delete. Maybe the control just needs to be let them cherry pick things. Maybe there's no algorithms in place to do this, but let me go and remove the negative things or get rid of the arguments with some troll, or maybe there's ways to clean that up and just preserve it, or at the very least just let somebody say what they want done with it. And if like any last will and testament, if I want it deleted, they should delete it.
Yeah, I actually found Twitter's deceased user policy, and basically it's you need to prove that the person, you have to have a death certificate, you have to prove that you are related to them, that you are authorized to execute their estate, essentially. So whoever is in charge of the person's estate gets to work with Twitter, and then they can remove images, they can remove posts. Remember, after Robin Williams' death, they changed the policy to allow posts to be removed in certain circumstances. But I think what Facebook's doing is saying, instead of having probate involved somehow, let's just make it easy. You can decide right now who manages your Facebook account.
Yeah, this is very similar to the process that Facebook used to do. My father died about 3 years ago, and my sister and I had to go through a quite lengthy process where we had to email the death certificate, email the proof that we were his kids, and so on, just in order to get his accounts deactivated.
Wow, that sounds
and you still have to do that. Someone has to, either show an obituary in an approved source or a death certificate or something like that,
right,
for them to even have this legacy contact kick into behavior. But they don't have to deal with a lawyer about who actually has the rights to it if this is done.
I know that when my dad died in 2000, we were worried about a lot of things, making sure stuff was taken care of, all the loose ends were tied up, any old debts, or all the things you normally think about.
Right.
I remember about 5 years later when Facebook was starting to be a thing and MySpace and all this stuff, I remember being kind of glad that we didn't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
And so today is a very different time, and who knows. But these are the things that just shape our weird future, man. Like, this is stuff nobody could think of before. This weird public trail of comments, thoughts, photos, interactions, and here they are, and what do you do with them? And now we're starting to have to answer that because we've gone enough years that people are starting to die of significance who have left a trail, and we have to answer that question from a social level. And I think it's fascinating and a little perplexing.
Right. One thing I heard, just to wrap this up here, one thing that I heard a lot of people are doing is they basically create, and I think there's a service out there to do this, create sort of a dead man switch where they kind of check in or whatever, and you can have it tied to email activity or I guess social network stuff because they're APIs. But basically, it'll just like give you your LastPass or 1Password and say, okay, go to town. Like, here's all this stuff that you need to access, and it's all in one place, and you don't have to deal with any of that.
Yeah. Well, there you have it.
Yeah, there's a few of them. One's called Dead Social, which will let you create goodbye messages that then somebody can post to all of your LinkedIn, G+, Facebook, Twitter. There's also one called Lives On that actually analyzes your Twitter feed and posts what you might have said.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't like that one. I don't like that one at all.
Can I start that up now?
Yeah, it's called a bot. Is what really.
Yeah, I mean, maybe this would take a load off my day to just do it for me. That'd be amazing.
Apparently, I'm
Sounds
supposed to be listening to a lot of Taylor Swift. Who knew?
All right, let's lighten the mood with some surveillance. Last weekend, the internet exploded about Samsung's privacy policy that said it would transmit to a third party, and I quote, personal or other sensitive information that a user said around one of its smart TVs. Samsung has thoroughly whipped the lawyer who wrote those terms of service, I'm guessing, and has now significantly changed the privacy policy to make it clear that it sends the voice commands you speak, and I think like partial of a second before, to nuanced communications in particular to process that. So you can now trust speaking about your health conditions that you searched on Google while around your Samsung TV.
So it's the same, essentially it's the same thing. It's the same kind of privacy policy we're agreeing to, or a lack of privacy policy, I suppose. Oh, that's weird. It kicked me out of my own call. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hear you now, yeah.
That was weird. That was really weird. It's the same as Siri or Google Now or anything else, right? I mean, it's the same process. If I say, show me the closest Pizza Hut, it's sending that data to Apple servers and they're processing it in the same way, right?
The whole thing about this is that Samsung, whoever wrote the Samsung privacy policy, was thinking they were being smart and writing it as broadly as possible. So whatever got transmitted to whatever third party, if the third party changed or if the technology changed, they'd be covered. But what it made it sound like was 1984. Because if you go and you look.
Oh, freaking Skype. What the heck happened? Okay, hold on.
Name something a doctor might pull out.
Hold on. We got to figure out what happened. That's really weird. Let's save that and mark it. We'll get that call back. Join call. Hello. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Samsung
Wait.
does not want us to talk.
What the heck? The heck, man?
What is going on?
That was awful convenient for timing, I think. Don't you think?
Samsung. Messing with Scott's internet, Samsung.
I see. I don't know what that was. I mean, my internet stayed throughout, but the Skype just decided to have a cow.
Look, we've always been at war with Eurasia.
Well played, my friend.
That was pretty good.
Well played.
Brecky, you're back, right?
Yeah.
Yep, I
Okay.
am.
Sorry, I have no idea what caused that, everyone.
So let me try to sum up.
Yeah.
Samsung can't stop the signal here, okay?
Right.
But they can record a small amount of what you say and send it to Nuance Communications.
Yeah. Like Siri, like Google Now, like whatever.
Yeah. No, the point I was trying to make when all of this chicanery started happening was that the Amazon Echo, the Microsoft privacy policies for their voice recognition are much more sensible. They're very concerned with emphasizing that you have control. With the Connect, it says like, this is what we do and you can turn it off. With Amazon, they go over the top and they're like, this is exactly what is recorded and you can access it from the Amazon Echo app and delete it if you want. And there's a button on the top of the Echo if you want to mute the mic at any point. So, everybody, Samsung just, whoever wrote their policy just didn't have an idea of how it would be read.
Yeah, because if you said something like Siri or whatever, your voice activation on your Amazon Fire TV, I want to see the accidental tourist. Oh man, my leg is killing me, and all that thing heard was the terrorist is killing me. We're
That's a really good example, actually. Yeah,
we're
Off the top of your head too.
Sure. The point being that you know, yeah. I mean, none of this stuff really scares me. What scared me more is that Samsung had this kind of language in there, and it came off as so, well, like you said, 1984.
Brian Brushwood nailed it on DTNS on Monday. He's like, this is a lazy lawyer.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just like not wanting to actually precisely write the policy like Amazon and Microsoft did. Well, Amazon more so than Microsoft, but still more precise than that, which is like, we're going to do whatever we want with whatever you say ever. There, covered.
They shouldn't have hired Sleepy, Slacker, and Armchair at law or whatever, and everything would have been fine. Good job, guys. All right, it is time for us to launch directly into what we refer to as the pop quiz.
America scores and wins.
All right, it's time for us
By
to play
America,
a little game.
by the way, we mean Canada too.
Oh yeah, and Sweden. It's fine. By extension. My sister's over there. She's, she brought a little America with her.
By America, we mean everyone.
Yeah, that's right. Now, when you guys answer these questions, you'll know if you got it right because you'll hear this. You'll know you got it wrong if you hear this. And the person who wins, and Tom will score the whole thing in a really weird way. It's both people's most confounding aspect of the show and their favorite part of the show. So I request that you enjoy and listen. Brecky, I'm going to do yours first because you're like the returning guy, and why not? Are you ready? All right, here we go. Marvel Cinematic Universe trivia. All right?
Okay.
First question. What is the name of the missile system Tony Stark demonstrates in the beginning of the first Iron Man movie?
Jericho.
You are correct. The Jericho missile. Nicely done.
Half-point speed bonus. Nicely done.
That was pretty good. Next up, in which Marvel movie does Hawkeye make his first appearance?
Thor.
You are correct. Nicely done. I had forgotten
And he wasn't
about
even
that.
cast when they shot that scene. He was added in later.
Yeah, wasn't he? Yeah, that
All
was,
right,
that was
showing
there.
off.
Sorry.
About to lose a point. All right, next up, what name does Black Widow go under when she first meets Tony Stark in Iron Man 2?
Oh, I don't know.
You would be incorrect with that answer. Well, I mean, not that you do know. It's Natalie Rushman is the name she used. It's all right. You're doing good so far. Tom, anything on score? We're good? Everything good?
Nope, no score.
All right. Who
He did
plays...
know. He was wrong when he said he didn't know. He
Very
actually
nice. Who plays Emil Blonsky / Abomination in the 2008 Incredible Hulk film?
Oh, I'm going to kick myself. I'm supposed to know this.
You should know this. I'd give you a hint, but I feel bad if I did.
I forget. Sorry.
You are incorrect. It is Tim Roth.
Right.
Tim Roth.
Half-point bonus because he will kick himself, and he did forget.
Yeah. Boy, he was such a...
Punching myself right now.
Did you ever see
I
that
can
Rob...
kick myself when I stand up.
You see that Rob Roy movie? He was a real bastard in that.
Rob Roy.
He was a real jerk. What country is Bruce Banner working at in the beginning of the Avengers?
Is it Indonesia?
You are so close. It is India, to be specific.
We'll give him 0.3.
It's a big country.
Few of the letters, right?
Agent Phil Coulson was it Phil? Yeah, I guess it's Phil. That
name
sounded
Agent.
wrong for some reason. Agent Coulson's what I always hear. Agent Phil Coulson was in the long-distance relationship with a musician. What instrument did his girlfriend play?
The cello.
You are correct.
Nice.
You're kicking it here. Second to last answer. In Captain America: The First Avenger, during a chase, Steve Rogers rips the door off a taxi and uses it as a shield. What is the name of the taxi company on the door?
Wow. New York Taxi?
You are incorrect, and it's actually meant to be kind of a goof. It is called the Lucky Star Cab Company.
Oh.
Lucky Star right in the center of the thing. All that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Final question.
Clever.
Here you go.
Tough one.
Who plays the mother of Thor and adoptive mother of Loki in the Thor films? What actress?
Oh, her name is Rene Russo?
You are correct. Nicely done on that one.
Nicely done.
Sheesh. All right. Tall order here, John.
There's always room for cello. Terrible.
Because everybody was thinking, could that be Kate Bishop because she plays the cello, et cetera, but never was.
She's I know she's done a lot of movies and stuff, but wasn't she in The Sopranos? She was his psychiatrist, right? Is that who that was? Anyway, doesn't matter. Here's what matters. John Funk's turn. He's up to the stage. It's 90s trivia. There's some nerdy stuff in here. Are you ready?
John,
As ready as I'll ever be.
All right. What Sega arcade game does John Connor play in Terminator 2 right before the two Terminators catch up to him?
Oh, jeez.
Famous Sega arcade game.
Sewer Shark.
You are Incorrect. That was a Sega CD only game. This is Afterburner. Afterburner.
Oh yeah.
It's a hard one though.
I'm gonna give him a quarter point because man, wouldn't it have been cool if he was playing Sewer
Yeah,
Shark?
it would have been actually.
It would have been.
That would have been great. That would have been some years before we'd ever get Sewer Shark. Okay, what was
It's
the...
about time travel.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. Come on, Scott.
Yeah, what am I thinking? What was the retail price of the Sega Dreamcast at launch?
Oh,
For a minute there, you were hoping this was all Terminator trivia, weren't you?
yeah.
Your dollar was your daddy.
Geez, all I remember is that I couldn't even come close to affording it. I'll say $339.
It was $199.99.
That's it?
Pretty good
That's
deal
all?
by today's standards, yeah.
God, why
Man.
didn't I just get more jobs?
Yeah,
It
what the
felt
heck?
like a lot more back then.
It did. I think.
Yeah.
I think inflation has done things to consoles.
Well, gas
Uh,
was 10 cents a gallon then. So.
I know, right? Well, maybe in your native tongue of Canada. Native tongue? Anyway, what Mortal Kombat character made his
King!
made his debut as a secret character in the original Mortal Kombat game?
Oh, Reptile.
Oh, you're a fast draw McGraw over there.
Quarter point quick bonus.
Yeah, that was really good.
Boom.
What level in GoldenEye?
him.
What level in GoldenEye has to be beaten in less than 2 minutes and 5 seconds on 00 agent difficulty or 00 agent difficulty to unlock the invincibility cheat code?
Oh.
And I'll tell you that the level is a popular one and it has a name that is, well known.
It's not the library, is it?
It is. Is that your answer?
No. Yes.
Incorrect. It is faculty.
Oh,
Facility.
Yeah.
The facility.
Actually, he gets a point because the correct answer is it's not the library.
Yeah,
is
that's a
it?
good point. It's a good point. He did
you
get that
go.
right. Here you go. Titanic won 11 Academy Awards in 1998. How many categories was the movie nominated in? Total number of categories nominated.
And how many did it win?
11.
God, I'm so glad I never saw that movie.
Really? You've never seen it?
No.
I've
no.
never seen all of it.
I think you're okay to not have
Why
seen
would
it.
you put yourself through that?
There were things I liked about it.
I'll say 14.
You are correct. Nicely done.
Well done.
Sheesh. It's well done indeed. Okay, what was the first film written by Joss Whedon?
Oh, geez, my nerd cred card is going to be taken away right now.
Me and my pet unicorn when he was 6 years old.
Close.
Yeah. Oh, geez, I don't even know.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
He wrote the original?
The movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
man.
wrote- that was the first thing he wrote. I would have guessed that if I didn't think like, oh, well, he obviously did some indie film before that.
Yeah, I would have thought that too.
No, he'd done some TV. That was it.
Yeah.
Well,
Or did you mean Buffy the Vampire Slaver?
Slaver.
which was
Oh,
a
yeah.
totally different
Yeah,
movie.
which was a real rough time
like
for
a period
vampires.
piece
Yeah.
from Roman times.
Those vampires
Oh,
did
I
not
thought
like
that
it.
was the BDSM porn parody.
Yeah. That's where you got to start.
50 Shades of Grey. Perfect timing. Good job.
Shades
That,
of
that was
Vampire.
around the sort of like robot jocks era, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
my
all
gosh.
blur.
Robot jocks. That's amazing. All right. Who played Zach Morris on Saved by the Bell?
Oh, jeez. I believe he changed his name to Zach Morris, so I'll go with Zach Morris.
It is Mark Paul Gosselaar. If this would have been, what's that one about junior high up there that you guys made? We watch it down here. Something junior high. Crap.
Kids in the Hall.
No, it's something.
My pen.
I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, it's some Canadian thing. Here's your final question. The click of death was used to describe the failure of what kind of disc?
Oh,
Utah related, but only in
Is it really?
a small way, yeah.
click of death. I'll say floppy disk.
Let's find out if you're right. Incorrect. It was the iOmega zip drive, or you could have said
Jazz
zip
drive?
disk. You could have said zip disk or zip drive, not jazz drive.
Not jazz.
Oh.
The Zips had that, and the reason they're a Utah connection is they were developed and sold out of Roy, Utah. That's where iOmega was based. And that completes the quest.
Degrassi High. Is
Degrassi
that
High,
it?
thank you. And it was Degrassi
God.
Junior High at first, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a junior high thing first. All right, Tom, let's add it up. Let's see how they did. How'd they do?
All right, weighing in at 4.5 pounds of points is John, but Brecky just edged him with 5.3.
Whoa, dude, closer than you would have expected. That's insane. And the scoring is
Cutting it
insane.
close.
Like literally insane. All right, let's do some
It's
forecast.
inversely exponential, so I really only made it about a quarter of the way.
Nicely done.
The future promises even more startling things to come.
It's the second time Degrassi High has come up for me in the past 2 days.
What was the other
I'm
instance?
trying to find out. Somebody I was reading about was like, former star of Degrassi High. And I'm like, who
Weird.
would that have been? And then I go to the Wikipedia article and the starring like is everyone ever.
I want to say my sisters were all into that growing up.
The
or
answer is
something.
always Spike, and that's how we learned about parenthood.
Oh, good. Well, that's how you have babies. Hey, let's do forecast. This is a thing that used to be a show. Now it's a segment. And there are a couple of them in here. The one I really like is this one that says very short term, 50 Shades is only the beginning.
Yeah.
What do you think that means? Brecky, I assume this is yours. Expound on that, please.
I think now that kink is in the mainstream, all of these smaller kinks that have very, very small audiences, like Hunter Fox's book, A Billionaire Dinosaur Forced Me Gay, I think those kinds of book are going to hit the mainstream.
Hold on a minute. I'm naive, all right, a little bit to some of this. Can you tell me what that book's about just briefly?
A Billionaire Dinosaur Forced Me Gay?
Yes.
It's about a guy who meets a billionaire dinosaur who forces him to be gay.
Is it a dinosaur? Like
Yes.
a full-on like Jurassic Park looking dinosaur.
Yes, it is. This is a very niche market.
At some point, does he say "rar"?
I think so.
Don't say that's what forces him to.
That will never be that book. Look, it'll always be some weird thing in the behind the screens. And this, I mean, I'm not judging anybody. Whatever, toot your horn, okay? But that will never be a mainstream story. It can't be.
No, well, maybe not that particular niche, but I mean, if you go to Amazon right now and you search for billionaire dinosaur, there are book titles like Falling for the Billionaire Werewolf Dinosaur. My boyfriend is a gay alien dinosaur, a billionaire, and president of the United States.
What?
50 Shades of Paleontology.
Wow, it's a whole paleontological erotic fiction subgenre.
Yeah. And I think these niches are going to become far more mainstream. We're going to have My Little Pony porn in bookstores near you sometime soon.
Punished by the Dark Unicorn.
What about the Diamond Club? Is that too mainstream?
No, it's way up there.
The Big Black Motorcycle Turned Me Straight.
So, do you think this is going to be sort of like what happened when they had disaster movies, and then they just kept pumping out one after another, like Deep Impact or, 50 Shades of Deep Impact?
Well, there's another one. This one, I just found one that says 50 Shades of Paleontology.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
what is with the dinosaurs, I guess I'm asking.
Dante's 50 Peaks.
I mean, it used to be, you could find saucy material that just had funny takeoffs of names of things that were mainstream or whatever. But this weird, like, I don't want to say weird. We live in a time where we're not trying to. I'm not judging anybody with your dinosaur love, all right? But I don't understand the source
Scott,
of it.
Paleontorotica, please.
Sorry.
It is the study of bones.
Hot tobacco erotica. What is hot tobacco erotica?
just another niche.
I am down a weird path now. Seduced by an old fart neighbor.
Like
there
I
are a
said, there's
million
one niche for everyone.
paths, Scott.
Grandma's
That's the beauty of our modern age.
Grandma's drinking buddy, and finally, the Dungeon of the Depraved Beasts. All right. At least
Pleasured by the Plesiosaurus.
that one doesn't sound too bad. Okay, that's terrible. All right. The idea. Okay, here is something so here's where I'll meet you in the middle. This 50 Shades.
Also a subgenre.
Yeah.
Yep.
Meet you in the middle.
Heyo.
The idea that we will become less. I think it will have a desensitizing effect, and I don't mean that in a pejorative. I mean it will make people feel less freaked out by stuff like this, and it'll be a thing you'll see more of, where they'll just be, risque stuff will be a little less taboo. But I don't know when the day comes where the dinosaur fanfic stuff starts making it to the top. I just don't know.
Yeah,
Well-
no, I think it's a long step from 50 Shades to, pleasured by a Plesiosaurus.
Right.
But there are shades of gray in between then and there.
Yeah.
So this is Rule 34 surfacing.
Yes.
Rule 34 of the internet is, if it exists, there is porn of it. So this is you're just saying that the Leviathan that has been lurking below the surface of the internet, that is Rule 34, will now burst through the top.
So you're telling me if I search for example, I've put it in the search and I don't know if I want to hit enter, but I put in the search Mega Man porn. That exists, is what you're telling me.
Yep.
Well, I'm just going to hit enter and see what happens. Yep, there it is.
Well,
All right,
he's got
great.
a blaster that never mind.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, that's a pretty tame one.
Is
Scott.
it?
Yeah,
It's-
all things considered. Yeah.
Well, again, it shows perhaps my naivete about what, where this stuff's at today. But yeah, it's the internet. I get it. But the internet has a way of amplifying things. And I'm guessing, just a guess here, but I'm guessing the dinosaur people are way, way small group. They should have their own little convention, do whatever they want to do. But I'm guessing that represents a very small thing. But because it's on the internet, anybody can find out about their secret little thing, right?
Yeah. But I mean, we live in a world now where kids can't Google My Little Pony for fear of what shows up in Google Images.
That's true. Oh my gosh, that's true. Did you see? I saw a very funny meme the other day that said, how did this go? 1,000.
I'm still waiting for left shark porn.
1,000 35-year-old plus old men scream in horror as Ghostbusters is announced to have a female cast. Meanwhile, millions of 6-year-old girls are afraid to search for My Little Pony.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like, we live in a weird time. That's all I'm saying.
Breaking news, Scott. Breaking news. I cannot find any erythromycin porn.
Oh my gosh. What? Well, now you can because someone heard this. Because half the time, here's what I think. Half the time they're pulling a schwood jury deal and they're faking a book. Like, I'll bet you a bunch of that dinosaur stuff is for laughs.
Excuse me, Scott. This book is very real.
You have that handy, I see. Is that
Right
the
here.
Diamond Club? Oh, man. That thing. Still to this day. There are people on Amazon who left reviews thinking it was real. I cannot believe that stuff. Anyway, good pick, man. I liked it. It made for some good entertaining stuff. John, any final thoughts on the beginning of our dinosaur porn future?
I, for one, welcome our new overlords.
All right. Velociraptor, T-Rex. Which one?
T-Rex with one of those grabby arm extension things.
All right. Okay. Because that's a real problem for them.
Unstoppable.
Yeah.
I would go Velociraptor because I don't think a T-Rex can snuggle and hug.
Oh, you like the spoon?
Occasionally.
With a velociraptor?
Well, you know.
Clever girl.
We have one last thing to do, and that is
She's a
to
clever girl. It's
we. You win the show today. Nicely done. We have some feedback here. We get feedback and calls via our email address and our phone number. The email address is currentgeek@gmail.com. Our phone number is 801-471-0462. And we got one from somebody named, speaking of fan fiction, the Dirty German wrote in.
Jawohl.
Jawohl. He says, "Hi, Geekers. Is there a bigger deal than Star Wars this year? If there is, I can't think of one. So I challenge all of us. And it feels like we may have talked about this a little bit, but is there a bigger deal this year?"
obviously a matter of opinion. I have even very good friends who do not like Star Wars, which this is not a big deal at all. But for me personally, no. I think The Force Awakens is the biggest cultural deal anyway. I mean, obviously the war in Ukraine and Boko Haram and, there's bigger deals.
Mm-hmm.
But in the world of like movies and TV shows and books, no. For me, no.
On the pop, so we'll narrow it down. On the front of pop culture, is there a bigger deal? John, what's the pulse of Canada on this?
Pulse of Canada is quiet because it's cold up here, so we're hibernating.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
Yeah, we have a kinship with Hoth and anything related to it. So bring on the Wampas.
All right. You're ready to have your arm removed? No, the Wampa lost his arm. Never mind.
The movie is going to be incredible. Some people are going to complain about it, but at the end of the day, everyone's going to have a good time. It's going to be great.
And you can't think of a single movie, comic book, video game, anything that rivals this in your mind.
Well, I think The Witcher 3 is going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that.
That's
March, right? March, is it? Is that soon?
Yeah, I think so.
Holy crap.
Bloodborne looks incredible, but I'm a huge Dark Souls and Dead Souls fan, so that can't come out soon enough. Oh, also, elephant in the room, Zelda Netflix.
Oh, yeah, that thing. We didn't talk about that.
We mentioned that last week because it had just broken, but we didn't talk much about it. And it's also not confirmed. It's still a rumor.
Still rumors, yeah. Yeah, that thing.
Oh, but if that comes true,
You're stoked. Are you excited? All right.
oh, it's going to be awesome.
That's great. You're the first person I've heard who's just uniformly excited about it. That's
Oh,
great.
I am too.
All right.
Well, why wouldn't you be? It's like, I'm not going to think that something is going to be garbage unless I've seen it and, it's been Wheel of Time.
Oh yeah, I'm not at all. Yeah, I'm definitely waiting till you see it kind of judgment, but I'm very, very curious to see what they do with a story that is as simple as Link, Zelda, and Ganon. I mean, that's the triangle, and there's really not much between them in terms of story or thickness. It's all about.
There could be, though. You never know. I mean,
well, they could. I mean, they could expand on it. You're absolutely right. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around how they do it. They may totally pull it off and blow my mind, and that'd be great if they did. But I just have I don't know, not really doubts. I just don't know how they do it.
House of Cards. No one saw that coming.
Yeah.
Orange is the New Black. No one saw that coming.
Yeah.
They got a track record of putting out really awesome, really unique niche stuff, and I think they're absolutely going to nail it.
All right.
Yes, Milo soon.
Milo, best named kid in Canada. All right, Brecky. Bigger than Star Wars? Is there anything?
I mean, we've got a lot of great movies coming this year. Age of Ultron, Ant-Man, Fantastic Four, Jurassic World, the SpongeBob movie, and so on. Personally, I think I'm looking forward to Age of Ultron more, but I think Star Wars is going to be culturally the bigger thing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe my favorite thing of the year so far with movies is boring, old, dusty film critics from the New York Times and from, these prestigious film critic places around the country are raving reviews, loving the SpongeBob movie. That's my favorite critic reaction this year, which is great because that thing looks ridiculous and they all love it. So for whatever that's worth, everyone go see SpongeBob this weekend. And that does it for our feedback. If you'd like to participate, 801-471-0462. We'll play your message if you call. People are afraid to call that number for some reason. I don't know why. On this show, mostly. It's weird.
Well, it's because of that whole horror thing that happened with it.
Oh, I guess so,
yeah. People called it and they all ended up having to designate legacy contacts in their Facebook.
The call came from inside the podcast. Also, currentgeek@gmail.com. That's our email address. That's where the Dirty German found us. You can find us there as well. I think it's going to do it for us. Let's go around the horn, give these guys a chance to talk about the stuff they're up to. Let's start with Brecky. Brecky, what can people find of your work online?
Well, I got this crazy idea about 2 or 3 months ago. I wanted to create a daily tech news show of sorts. I don't think anybody's ever done that before.
Great idea, Brecky.
Yeah, I know, right?
Why hasn't anyone thought of that?
Yeah,
I don't know. It was a great idea, so I created one called Geek Days. We do a new episode every single weekday, and we're kind of relaunching the show on Monday. We did a survey for 2 weeks, and people got to say what they thought was good, what was bad. So as of Monday morning, we're relaunching the show. So best opportunity ever to be a new listener.
Well, as Tom and I can both attest, that is hard work, and
it is.
Hat is off, dude, because that's a mill you got to work there, and we're stoked for you. That's awesome. Geek Days is the name.
Yeah, just one word, Geek Days.
Right. iTunes everywhere.
Available where podcasts are sold.
All right, fantastic, or free as it turns out. Let's see. Oh, where are you on Twitter? I forget.
Brecky T, BREKIT.
There you go. Also, John, what are you up to? You do amazing web work for people that I know and work with, and they all benefit from you greatly, but I feel like you don't get the credit you deserve. You do incredible stuff. What's going on with you?
Just making more stuff.
Yeah.
I know it's not super descriptive, is it? Just rolling out more stuff for the Wood Whisperer and doing some pretty interesting things in the works for some people that you'll see pretty soon, so I can't talk too much about it. Other than that, trying to get back into doing more illustrating, and all that stuff will be posted on my Twitter account, which is @_funk, UNDERSCOREFUNK. So it's that, raising a child, and teaching design stuff at the university over here.
Well, that's awesome. Well, very cool. Follow John. He's a hoot and always fun to hang out with online. And it's highly recommended. Tom, anything else going on you want people to know about today?
Just one thing. Brian Brushwood and I were talking the other day. I was like, we need to talk about movies. Just have an open and honest discussion. No punches pulled. No spoilers kept secret. So we do a show called Cord Killers. And it's all about cord cutting and movies and TV shows. So check it out at cordkillers.com.
I've been on that show, and it's fantastic.
I have too. It is fantastic.
It's good. John, get on that show, man. It's fantastic.
Call me.
And also, there was a secret stenographically hidden plug of We Need to Talk from Psychon.net.
Oh, look at you.
Thank you very much.
Also, there's a segment about dinosaur erotica, so check that out. I think it's going to do it for us. Thank you all for being here. There's a lot happening. Nerdtacular.com about to launch its new site. May even be up right now. I'm not sure. Have to check. But anyway, you can go there now. Tickets are available on the 25th of this month. Big announcements, big cool stuff happening. There'll be a post there shortly with a video of me and the showrunner talking about what's happening this year. So there's a lot happening there, a lot of shows happening on the Frog Pants Network. You're welcome to check it all out just as soon as your little hands can take you there. Give us a call, leave us a voicemail, 801-471-0462, at Current Geek, at Scott Johnson, at Ace to Tech, currentgeek.reddit.com, currentgeek@gmail.com, and currentgeek.com. Geek. It's going to do it for us, for me, for Tom, and our guests. We'll see you next time. I was having one of those nights where I cannot get words out the way they're supposed to.
I hate
go.
it when that happens.
I hate it.
It's like,
It's like
Happens way too often.
my brain's working. It's just not matching up. Thanks, guys. You were awesome.
yeah, that was great.
Brecky,
Well,
get some damn sleep, dude.
Yeah, go
I
sleep.
will soon.
You look tired.
It's just how I look.
John, you look fine, though. You got time. You're still good.
Yeah, time.
Time.
That's where I'm a champion.
Have the best weekend you can possibly have.
I will. I'm going to